Ohio State needs help beating Michigan. 4 in a row now. 13-10, the final from this weekend's debacle. Do the Buckeyes have to fire Ryan Day? Is that the ultimate conclusion to how you see the situation unfolding?
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. You believe that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not convinced.
Well,
I think they should.
I mean, unless they win the national championship.
That's it.
Of course. Yeah.
He saves his job if he runs the table. It's not happening. If he runs the table and wins the national championship. Short of that, forget everything you're hearing about the buyout. Forget it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is Ohio State. They will find the money. Do you guys follow Matt Finkus?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Matt's a longtime friend of mine. He was with Vrabel and Fickle on the Rose Bowl team.
Them brothers.
In the mid-'90s. He's a great guy. He's plugged into what's going on in Columbus. They don't let that buyout number fool you. And by the way, that number goes away after December 1st, by my understanding. They're not going to fire him before December 1st. He got the dreaded vote of confidence from the athletic director last night. That's scary. But they're not going to win the national championship, and he will be fired before next season. He will not be coaching the team next season. And I think that's the right move. What I saw Saturday was the biggest abuse of talent. It was coaching malpractice. Now, you can't necessarily point at Ryan Day, who thought he took himself out of the fire when he said, I'm not going to call plays anymore. Chip Kelly was abysmal. That play calling was unbelievable. But the result happened on Saturday, and I'm interested to see if you guys believe this. The result happened for two reasons. Michigan had way more intensity than Ohio State, and they were coaching with nothing to lose. Ohio State was coaching with everything to lose, and the team with the most intensity is more often than not wins these rivalry games. It's not an excuse. It's actually an indictment on Ryan Day. The fact that they have the countdown clock, and he's been talking about this and how much it means. We have some behind-the-scenes knowledge of how sensitive he is to the pressure. That opened up a window into my view of Ryan Day and who he is and why he will never be successful at the top level.
In his biggest games, right, like college football playoffs in Michigan, he's 2-7.
Yep.
There's no excuse.
It's
this
John
is Ohio
Cooper
State.
Part 2, right?
And here's the thing. In the biggest games, he puckers up every time.
That's why.
Every time.
Yes.
Michigan with Harbaugh and I forgot the name of their coach now.
Urban Meyer?
No, Michigan's current coach.
Jerome Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Jerome Moore. They go for it. They play aggressively against Ohio State. Oh, I mean, the play calling beyond what they kept bringing up on the broadcast about stop running the ball in the middle, but just the conservativeness. They get that crazy turnover. The kid makes the interception. And then they just run it was like they weren't even trying to get a first down. They were just trying to punt.
10 of Michigan's 13 points came on drives that totaled 6 yards.
Yeah.
6
They
yards.
move the ball.
Yeah.
They could move the ball. Quarterback threw for 70 yards.
If they play this game 10 times on a neutral field, Ohio State wins 8. The amount of talent that they have is insane. It's the highest payroll in college football. We've heard all of that nonsense.
Their quarterback's hideous.
Terrible.
Michigan.
They could not move the football.
Yeah.
Yet, they won the game. Now, a lot of things happened too. The kicker missing 2 kicks.
Well, how do you not have a kicker, Jay? How do you not have a good kicker at Ohio State?
He is a good kicker. He's been a good kicker all year. You know what? You take on the characteristic of your coach.
It's
all
mental.
week long, his ass was this tight.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And the team all around him said, wow, Ryan's right. They took the shot in the tunnel coming out, and I said, uh-oh, Ryan looks like he's getting ready to go into his death. He was scared. You can't coach in these games scared. Say whatever you will about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was never afraid of Michigan. Also, one other thing that I think, I've changed my mind on this. When Jim Harbaugh initially made the dig on Ryan Day about, some people are born on third and thought they hit a triple. I thought, that's unfair. No, it's not unfair. Right. Jim Harbaugh, you aptly described Ryan Day. He was handed a championship roster.
Where he comes
His
from?
only win against Michigan came with Urban Meyer's team.
And he had more of an advantage than any Ohio State coach has ever had on some level, because Ohio State now out in the open could spend more money than anybody.
You're right.
Man.
And they did.
And they have all this talent. And what happened?
Anytime someone brought it up, Ryan Day got his
20-point favorite. It's the biggest.
Listen, that was the easiest betting line I've ever seen. Told everybody all upstairs on Friday or on Wednesday, my last day. I said, you want to make money? Just there's no way Ohio State's covering that. That's ridiculous.
Well, based on the line, it was the biggest upset in the history of the series.
Yeah, I understand that, but that line was ridiculous. You're not winning that rivalry game by that many points.
Let me tell you this. I mean, first and foremost, yeah, he probably won't get fired. And people, I don't know why people think, oh, G. Bush doesn't like the Buckeyes. I said, first and foremost, I don't have no dog in the fight. I watch college football. I look at it.
You're not an Ohio State fan?
If it comes down to rooting for Ohio State or Florida or somebody, I'm going to root for Ohio State.
I didn't know that, though. I didn't know that. I thought you would have called yourself a big fan.
And well, it's kind of tough when you play for other schools.
You went to OU. Played for OU.
That's my team. So my thing is, I watch them all the time.
Congrats. OU's going to the MAC championship.
9-3. We like that, man. So for me, I watch them. I know a bunch of alumni that played there. I got cousins and family members that played there. And my brothers and my dad are diehard fans. They watched this. They was crying. No, they weren't crying, but they were, you know how I get. Now, listen, Ohio State has professional players, man. And this is what I've been trying to drill down on. You guys stop trying to save regular people. When you come behind Woody Hayes and Tressel and Urban Meyer and giants of the game, you should not be sitting here crying because of Ryan Day. Where did he come from? Who put him on? Like, why does he deserve to have? This is one of
Urban recommended him.
This is one of the top 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Every year. Yeah. Do you know who would kick and scream to get this type of job? This is the bluest blood of all blue bloods. The fact that you came out there and you have Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka and all these running backs, and you got a bunch of people that don't know what to do. This Michigan team is one of the worst Michigan teams I've ever seen.
You know what, though? I will give them credit where it's due. They won because of Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale. They've got talent, too. Let's not make it seem like this Michigan team's got no talent. I think Saturday's win for them was an indictment of how poorly the effort that they put forth, because I watched 3 of their losses, and I'm like, this team's not trying. This is an effort loss. But Wink Martindale had the perfect scheme for all of these guys, and they executed it. They executed the game plan to perfection.
I give them credit, but I go back to, and this is the main thesis, I go back to what Maurice Claret said. I go back to it.
Yeah, the prettiness.
You guys are not built the way you were supposed to in these trenches. Ohio State is a nice team, and the fact that they came out there and wanted to get tough after somebody put the flag on the field. Come on, guys, listen. I was talking to Jonathan Wells, and he said, listen, you should have beat them on the field. Who cares about that flag? It's about what you're going to do on that football field. You had an opportunity to beat them in between the lines, and now you're upset. Now, look, they got to get to a point where they can, the next coach they get in here, how's about start coming? Y'all might want to come back up north again, because y'all recruit from everywhere. But the teams that have been successful, where's your ball players? Where's your base at? You got to rally your base a little bit, man. Last time I checked, that trophy back there came back from guys that coming from Cleveland, Northeast Ohio.
They still recruit Ohio very heavily, though.
But here's what I'm saying. That's the mentality. You got a lot of dudes, you get guys. Shout out to Will Howard. He comes from Kansas State and all that good stuff. You need to get your trenches figured out. And right now, I don't think Ohio State is tougher than Michigan. Michigan came out there and proved it, and Ryan Day should have been gone 2 years ago.
Will Howard celebrated that Indiana win as if they'd done something.
Well, and that's the thing that just has always bothered me about Ryan Day is he just punches down.
Yeah.
And he can't punch up.
You're right.
He goes after Lee Corso. He runs up the score on Indiana.
We went after Lou Holtz.
That's why I'm sorry. That's what I meant. He goes after Lou Holtz.
That's when you're going to become a tough guy?
He runs up. It's Indiana. It's freaking Indiana. I said this last week. Why are you running up the score, going in victory formation, and punching into it? Like Travion Henderson did the right thing. Travion Henderson goes to the goal line and falls down, and then your idiot ass goes up there and runs 2 more plays to get against Indiana. Why are you running up the score on Indiana?
Yeah.
So I've always had a problem with just how thin-skinned he is, and he just punches down against guys that he doesn't need to be punching down on. And then in the moment against the bully you should be punching, he can't punch up.
Let's try to spin it forward, Jace, because you understand the search and the names and everything else. I've talked to 3 or 4 people that are in Columbus that are dialed in, and I keep asking, not who do you want? That's a different argument. Who do they get?
Right.
If you had to give me 3 names that are on that list, and obviously Vrabel, Vrabel's going to have the pick of his NFL dreams. I don't see Mike going in for this nonsense and foolishness that is coaching college football today. I don't blame him if he says, I'm staying with the big boys. But who are the 3 names that will be on the final list, and are there names that should be on that list that aren't?
You make Vrabel tell you no, and he probably will.
I agree.
He probably will. But
I think he may already have told them.
He may have, but you make him tell you no, and then you move on from there. I do think it's... because I covered Ohio State. Were you there for the Cooper years?
I was.
Okay.
All of them.
So I was there for my first job out of college was covering Ohio State. I had John's last year, and I've kind of downplayed this, but it's worth pointing out. The guys who are from here have the most success in this
100%
series,
agree.
and you can't run from that. Like John never got it, 2-10-1. Ryan's not from here, 1-4.
Yep.
Tressel 9-1. Urban never lost to him. Even Earl Bruce had a winning record against Michigan. And Earl wasn't a great
Would
coach.
Urban ever come back? Would they ever bring him back?
So the reason I asked this question is because of the 3 people that I talked to, 2 of them with some degree of certainty said yes, he would come back, and yes, they would ask him back. Because those are the questions I asked.
Right.
I asked, like you, who are the names? And I got a variety of different names.
Marcus Freeman is out there.
Marcus Freeman said some things against Ohio State that will come back to haunt him. When Marcus left for Notre Dame, he said in his introductory news conference, and I remember when he said this at the time, it was odd because they had to play Ohio State.
I don't remember this.
He said, I shouldn't have gone to Ohio State. I made a mistake.
Oh, wow.
And I think
I don't remember
that disqualifies him from coming
He's
back.
an Ohio kid, too.
Ohio kid who said he made a mistake by going to Ohio State. Now, look, you're speaking to your base. That's the equivalent of Brian Kelly going down to LSU and acting like he's got a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Right.
Bro, don't. It's fake. It's not you. Maybe with truth serum, maybe Freeman would now say, I got caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that, but I did. But there are going to be a lot of people in Columbus that don't forget that.
If you think he's the best choice, you can't let that stop you. I don't know that he is the best choice.
I don't know that he is the best choice either.
You got to get you a name. You got to have a name. After you come, like if you come with Ryan Day and you saw what it looked like. When Tressel was doing Michigan like that, who they went and got? They finally got who?
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're going to get Harbaugh. We're not playing with no Brady Hoax. We're not playing with none of these other dudes.
Yeah.
Who would the
Rich
equivalent to Harbaugh be? Mike Vrabel?
Yes.
Played at the school,
Yes.
had success in the
In the
NFL.
NFL, yes.
I think he would be the target. But Mike loves the university so much. I know that people have reached out to Mike. If Mike truly has said, I'm not going back to the nonsense of college, Mike is a no-nonsense guy. He really is. He suffers no fools, and he doesn't enjoy playing games. And right now in college football, that's what it's become. I think that Mike loves the university so much that my guess is people have reached out to him to gauge interest, and my guess is Mike, because he loves the university so much, doesn't want to hinder the process moving forward, would be the kind of guy that would say, look, go to your next candidate.
Here's the thing with Urban. Would he do that to Ryan?
Oh, listen.
I know Urban's a killer with an ego.
They're going to fire him anyway.
There is that, like, I mean,
I'm surprised you're even asking that question.
No, I know, but like, I take it back to like, the Cavs tried to fire David Blatt and hire Ty Lue multiple times, and Ty kept telling them, "No, I'm not taking this job."
I feel there are some differences there.
Yeah, I know, and Urban, I know,
and the biggest thing to me is this: Urban never wanted to leave Ohio State. The people that were closest to him and that know him well know that he did not want to leave Ohio State. His hand was forced because the administration at the time did not like how powerful Urban had become at the university.
Yeah.
And so there was a real power struggle. Note that the two main players that forced Urban Meyer out, and that's what it was, are gone.
He does burn hot and he burns fast. He's not long for any job.
Listen, I don't think it's not that he's too old to be a long-term solution. It's what you just said. It's what Jim Harbaugh is. Jim Harbaugh, if you look at his history, when he was hired by Michigan, I remember we reached out to some folks at Stanford. We were at ESPN, we were saying, okay, so what should we expect? And everybody told us the same story. All of it, of course, off the record. But we had sources saying the same thing. They're like, oh, they are going to love this dude in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And they are going to rule the day that they ever brought him in, because he will leave that program. Although they will improve and win, he's going to leave it worse than he found it. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily true. He left on top. But the mess that he left behind is exactly what the Stanford people were talking about.
Yeah.
And with Urban, you're dancing with the devil, I think. You're dancing with the devil. But you're talking about a fan base that loves to win and loves tradition more than it loves everything else. He's a Buckeye. He's won. He's tried. He's true. Can he win in today's climate? I don't know.
I think he can. And I don't know Urban well at all.
Right.
At all. I've only met him a couple of times. But I think I know him well enough from talking to others. He's probably embarrassed by the way the NFL went.
Extremely.
And I don't know that he wants that to be his lasting.
That was bad.
Agreed.
Could they get Nick Saban to come out of retirement?
No. Nick's done. I don't think.
Nick's 73, right?
Nick
Isn't he
is
73?
same as Bill. I think they're both in their early 70s. Now, Bill wants to come back and coach in the
Bill wants
NFL
the
because he
record.
wants the record.
Yeah.
And there's also a bit of Bill that is tired of the argument's been settled. It is quarterback over system or quarterback over coach. Because Brady went elsewhere and won, I think the pendulum has swung in, and Bill did not have success without Tom. Mm-hmm. I think he would love the right situation with a quarterback that he feels he can win with, and he's going to be given the control that Atlanta wouldn't give him. Bill would come back, and he would love more than anything to have two successful seasons, one where he makes it to a Super Bowl and maybe wins, then leaves on his terms. Urban didn't leave on his terms, both college or pro. Urban told me to my face when I asked him, will you coach again? He said, I will. It will be one of two jobs, the Cowboys or the Fighting Irish.
Wow.
Not long after that conversation, which was face-to-face, not over the phone, he ends up taking the Jacksonville job.
Yeah.
And I was stunned because he said it with all the conviction in the world. And I said, why those two? He goes, those are the Blue Bloods. That's how you're measured.
I will say this, dark horse candidate for me, watch it, especially if they perform well this year in the playoff, Dan Lanning.
It's on the list.
Dan Lanning.
He's very much on the list.
He got that type of mentality. He's done it at Oregon.
Maurice Claret?
No.
Craig Krenzel?
No.
Mike Nugent?
No. She's going back to
Craig Powell.
No. Lorenzo Styles.
His kid's pretty good player. A really good player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So to put a bow tie on it real quick, is Ryan Day safe with a natty and gone under any other circumstances?
I'm
Of course
surprised
he's
you're
safe if they win the championship.
I'm surprised you're strong that he's out, because I do think that the $40 million buyout, I don't know what it goes down to.
I heard that after December 1st, it goes down. They're not
To
going to
what,
fire him
though?
before the playoffs.
Obviously not.
I had
No.
said last week there was a big conversation upstairs. He's gone if he loses, right? And I said, no, he's not. Because he's going to make the playoffs. Right now, there's a scenario, and this could be fascinating, and it could vault them to a national championship. They're still a very good football team. Don't get that wrong. Don't think that because they lost to Michigan that they're definitely
There's
not
no
going to win a
sure
national
thing
championship.
team, right?
No.
There's no such thing, especially this year. I watched between Thursday and Saturday. I watched the Georgia Tech. I watched every second of it.
Georgia Tech was phenomenal.
That was
I almost
maybe
texted you guys
one
to
of
see
the
if you're
best
still
games
awake.
I've ever watched.
I watched that.
It had everything.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It had a big Georgia Tech came out 17-0 on the road.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching, I'm going, this is what happens in rivalry games.
Yeah.
Teams that aren't supposed to win can win. But to my ultimate point on Ohio State and moving forward the future, the way the bracket looks right now, Ohio State would have to play Oregon in the second game. That is a winnable game on a neutral field for this football team. It all comes
They
down
should have
to
been the first time, really.
Yes, it's my saying in life. Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to what happens to you.
Where are they ranked right now? But it's going to change.
They're 8.
It'll be tomorrow. When the
Yeah,
poll
I
comes
mean,
out.
by most estimates, they're going to be 8 or 9. But the way the bracket is going to pair out, it's the way it's going to shake out. They likely would have to play Oregon. If they stay in the 8, they would have to play Oregon in the second round. Their second round. It would be the first game.
Does the
for
one
Oregon.
seed play the lowest ranked team that moves on? Do we know that?
I don't actually know if it's a standard bracket
If they
or
reseed.
If
Yeah.
it's
No, I don't think that's the way it is because I know in
They
the
should.
NFL playoffs they don't reseed, and I don't believe
They don't in the
No,
NFL.
they
In
do.
college, they definitely should.
Yeah, in the NFL they do. In college they
reseed.
don't.
College,
Yeah, in the NFL they do.
Yeah, so, but I don't. When I look,
Well,
at
we don't
all
know
the
in college
12
they
teams,
don't. It's never
I know,
happened.
No, I
before.
do know.
I'll
I've
look that
read
up.
it. I don't.
Let me do a read. I'll let you
Quickly,
guys jump
last
in
thought. There will not be a team in the 12 that Ohio State can't beat.
Totally agree.
There won't be.
But I also think this team might just be broken after
That's the
after
thing.
that.
So what? How do they respond to what happened to them?
This will be his most difficult coaching job.
It will.
Over these next couple
It's
weeks.
going to do one of
is
two
get
things.
These guys ready
They'll
to go.
either spiral and get boat raced in the first round, or they could rally, beat Oregon,
Yeah.
have all the confidence in the world. Texas is, to me, Texas is the favorite. Texas is beatable.
For
yeah.
sure.
They're very beatable.
Yes.
So nothing's going to surprise me. with
Georgia
what
could win the
happens.
whole frickin' thing.
Georgia could win it too. Georgia
It's
could win
wide
it, too.
open this year.
Go ahead,
It's, you know
Mike.
what? It's become
It'll
the
be fun.
NFL. Just because you lose one game to a rival,
Yeah.
you know, in the NFL, you're not written off with one loss.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers handed the Lions their only loss, and they've beaten the Bills, who have 2. Like, that's what happens in football. Anybody can win.